friends, we're back and this is the Haunted Library and we are going to read chapters 3 and 4. So if you haven't listened to 1 and 2, don't listen to this recap, but if you remember in chapter 1, Kaz is with his family and then he gets put on the outside and then he ends it in a new haunt, and a haunt is a house where he's going to live. So, and a solid is a person. So now he got moved to a library and he's with this other girl and she can see him. And this is the first time he's ever been with anybody who's a solid that can see him. And he's in a library and I just gotta know what happens next. All right, so here we go. Chapter 3, The Haunted Library by Dori Hilstead Butler. Chapter 3, Swim. The solid girl looked right at Kaz, as though she could actually see him. Kaz glanced down at himself. Was he glowing? No. Then there was no way this girl could see him. Could she? Kaz swam to the right. Claire's eyes followed him to the right. He swam to the left. Claire's eyes followed him to the left. He waved his hand in front of Claire's face, and she blinked. Kaz stared wide-eyed. Can you see me? Yes. Kaz gasped. And you can hear me too? Of course. Ah! Kaz shrieked. He'd never heard of a solid who could see ghosts when they weren't glowing. He'd never heard of a solid who could hear ghosts when they weren't wailing. This girl could do both. Was she some sort of magical solid girl? Whatever she was, she scared Kaz. He turned and swam away as fast as he could. Where are you going? Claire called as she held tight to her green bag and ran after him. She chased him into the non-fiction room and followed him up one row of bookshelves and down another. She could run almost as fast as Kaz could swim. Young lady, an older solid lady, tapped her cane on the floor. Does your grandma let you run in the library? Claire slowed to a fast walk, but she still stayed right with Kaz. She followed him into the fiction room, then back through the entryway into a brightly colored room with low bookshelves. The sign on the door read, Children's Room. Most of the solids in here were Kaz and Claire's size, or smaller. Kaz sailed right over their heads. Oh no! Another open window! Kaz banked to the left and swam back the way they'd come. Claire spun on her heel and zoomed after him. Kaz swam up to the ceiling, but swimming along the ceiling in this place was scary too. There were round, bright things up there that felt dangerously hot when Kaz swam too close. Even worse, this room had Kaz didn't know what it was, had some sort of whirly thing in the middle of the ceiling. Like the outside wind, it pulled Kaz toward it and blew. I wonder if they're talking about a ceiling fan. That probably would be very scary for him. And blew around him and around in circles really, really fast. Help! Kaz screamed, his arms and legs flailing. But who would help him? His family wasn't here. As he spun around and around and around, he saw Claire touch a button on the wall. The whirly thing in the middle of the ceiling slowed down. It slowed enough that Kaz could break away. Whoa. Now Kaz felt skizzy, really skizzy. Before he knew what was happening, his stomach heaved and his insides spewed all over Claire. Ew, she cried, leaping out of the way. I didn't know ghosts could throw up. Ew, I didn't know that either. Two small, solid girls looked at Claire like she was crazy. They couldn't see Kaz, so they probably couldn't see the spew on Claire's arm either. Claire wiped the spew with the bottom of her shirt as the two girls hurried away. Kaz's stomach felt better now. He kicked his legs and swam to the next room. "Hey, stop!" Claire called, running after him. "Come back! I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to talk." So there's a picture of Kaz and Claire with Kaz's throw up on his arm. Ew. Kaz didn't believe her. She was a solid. His family always said, never trust a solid. He swam from room to room to room, through the entryway and back through all the rooms, again and again and again. Claire never lagged far behind. Kaz's arms and legs were starting to ache. He didn't know how much longer he could swim. Just then, another ghost, a ghost man, swam out from between two bookshelves. He was about Pops's age, and he wore a fancy black jacket and matching top hat. "This is getting painful to watch," the ghost man said as he swam alongside Kaz. "Do you want to get away from that pesky solid?" Kaz could only nod. He was too tired to speak. "Then follow me." The ghost man darted out ahead. With a burst of energy, Kaz swam after him. Claire followed close behind. They zipped through the children's way, through the entryway, and into a small room at the back of the entryway. The craft room. There was a table and chairs in the middle of the room and a bunch of colorful paper that dangled from the ceiling. They looked like birds. Ooh, origami. The ghost man sailed under those paper birds straight toward a wall of books at the back of the room. Kaz moaned. He knew what that ghost man was about to do. And I think we do too, my friends. No! Kaz and Claire screamed together as the ghost man passed through the wall. Kaz screeched to a halt before his foot touched a single book. Claire hit the wall of books with a hard thump. The door blew closed behind them, and Kaz was trapped in this little room, trapped with a solid girl who could see him. I think he'll be okay, though, because she seems pretty friendly. But there's the old man. He did his thing through the wall, and Kaz and Claire. Oh, and the origami birds on the table. I bet Miss T knows how to make those. Chapter 4. Woohoo! Oh, actually, it's probably woo. My bad. There was only one thing for Kaz to do. Shrink. Kaz took a deep breath and shrank down, down, down. Then he swam up to the paper birds and tried to hide among them. The ghost man's head popped back through the wall of books. He looked around. "Where are you, boy?" he asked. Kaz pressed his lips together. He knew the ghost man wanted to help him, but he couldn't risk that girl spotting him, so he remained quiet. So Kaz is up here with the birds, and there's the ghost man in the books. Claire moved slowly around the table, her eyes scanning every inch of the room. "Aha!" she said, pointing at Kaz. "There you are. But solids can't swim in the air like ghosts can." Kaz was safe for the moment. The ghost man's hand appeared through the wall. "Over here, boy," he waved Kaz toward him. "She can't follow you back here." Kaz stayed where he was. "What's back there anyways?" Claire asked the ghost man. "Some sort of secret room?" She craned her neck as though she could see into it through the rows of the books. The ghost man ignored her. "Hurry up," he said to Kaz, "unless you'd rather stay with this solid girl." No, Kaz certainly didn't want to stay with Claire, but he didn't want to pass through the wall of books either. Passing through a wall of books would be even worse than staying in a room with a solid girl who could see him. She'd get tired of chasing him eventually. Wouldn't she? Suit yourself, the ghost man said. His head and hand disappeared. Kaz ducked behind another paper bird. Claire's eyes followed as he drifted from one bird to the other. And there he is on one of the paper cranes. Claire opened her bag and slowly pulled out one of those objects with a tall, skinny object. I'm not going to hurt you, she said, again, as she pulled out a chair and sat down at the table. Kaz wasn't taking any chances. Keeping one eye on Claire, he moved slowly among the paper birds. It was interesting how she held the tall, skinny object between her thumb and first finger and moved it across the page of her book. Kaz knew there was a word for what she was doing. That word was writing. Claire was writing in her book. Kaz's mom and grandpa could pick up a solid piece of chalk and write or draw with it on a chalkboard. But it took a lot of energy and a lot of skill to do that. More skill than Kaz or either of his brothers had. What's your name? Claire asked after a little while. At first, Kaz didn't answer. But was there really any harm in letting her know his name? Kaz, he finally said. Kaz what? Just Kaz. I'm Claire. Claire Kendall. She held out her hand for Kaz to shake. Oh, remember the mailboxes at the beginning of the story? Let me go back and look. Remember when he first got on there? And it was Lindstrom and Kendall. That must be because she lives there. That's part of her house. All right. Let's see. I'm Claire Kendall. Did you just get here today? Claire asked as she moved her writing thing across the book again. She made it sound like he'd come here on purpose. The wind brought me here, Kaz said. Today? Yes, Kaz nodded. From where? The old schoolhouse. What old schoolhouse? I don't know, Kaz said. Was there more than one old schoolhouse on the outside? Kaz cleared his throat. Can I ask a question now? Claire stopped writing. I guess, she said, looking at him expectantly. How come you can see me when I'm not glowing? What's glowing? It's what ghosts do when we want solids like you to see us, but I can't do it, so you shouldn't be able to see me. Solids like me? Claire raised an eyebrow. Is that what you call people who aren't ghosts? Yes. Claire wrinkled her nose. I don't think I like that word. You should call us people. But ghosts are people too, Kaz said. We're just not solid people like you. Claire started writing again. After a couple minutes, Kaz said, you didn't answer my question. How come you can see me when I'm not glowing? Claire closed her book and laid her writing thing on top of it. I don't know, she said. It started a year ago. We lived in Seattle then. I just woke up one morning and I could see ghosts. I don't know why. It was kind of scary at first. There was one in our house. There was another one at my school. I tried to tell people, but no one believed me. In fact, the kids at school made fun of me. They called me Ghost Girl. Kaz didn't understand. Why would anyone call Claire Ghost Girl? She wasn't a ghost. Then my dad lost his police job, Claire went on, so we moved to Iowa. Moving here was supposed to be a fresh start. She snorted. Some fresh start. My parents started their own detective agency, which they won't let me help with. In fact, they made me promise I won't tell anyone I see ghosts. They want me to act normal here, so people don't think I'm weird. But guess what? There are ghosts in Iowa, just like in Seattle. So how am I supposed to act normal? She threw her hands up in the air. Kaz shrugged. He didn't know what was normal for solids. Do you think it's weird that I see ghosts? Claire asked. Well, Kaz said. He didn't think it was kind of weird. He did think it was kind of weird, but he didn't think it would be polite to say so. That other ghost who lives here says it's weird. His name's Beckett. I don't think he likes me very much. That's because you're a solid and he's a ghost, Kaz said. So, Claire narrowed her eyes at Kaz. Don't you think ghosts and, she paused, people who aren't ghosts can be friends? Well, Kaz said again, could they be friends? His family would say no. Claire opened her book again. Okay, I told you my whole life story, but you haven't told me much of anything about you. Will you tell me your life story? Are you going to write that in the book? Kaz asked. Yes. Why? Because this is my ghost book, Claire said. It's where I keep track of all the ghosts I meet. Do you want to see it? Kaz still didn't want to get too close to Claire, but he was curious about her book. He expanded back to his normal size, then slowly drifted down, down, down. Claire flipped back to the beginning of the book. This is Warren, she said. He was my first ghost. You draw pictures of us in your book too? Kaz asked. Yeah, her drawings were good. Better than the ones Kaz and Grandpa made on the chalkboard back at their haunt. Claire turned the page. This is Anne. She's the ghost who lived at my school in Seattle. And I don't know who this one is. Claire turned another page. She didn't tell me her name. I met her at a gas station in South Dakota. Kaz didn't know what a gas station or what South Dakota was. The next page showed a drawing of Beckett, the ghost who had just disappeared through the wall. And the page after that caused Kaz to draw in his breath. The ghost in that picture looked exactly like his brother Finn. Kaz couldn't speak. All he could do was point. I don't know that ghost's name either, Claire said. He wouldn't talk to me at all. That's my brother, Kaz said. Finn. Claire hadn't written very much about Finn in her book, just the fact that she saw him on June 4th in the fiction room. That wasn't long after Finn had blown away from their haunt. Claire also saw Finn on June 6th and June 9th. That was all she wrote. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that she saw Finn. That's so exciting. Kaz told Claire all about Finn, how he passed through the outside and blew away. Do you know where Finn is now? Kaz asked. Before Claire could answer, the room went dark and Kaz heard a ghostly "ooh" coming from somewhere outside the craft room. Oh, okay, boys and girls, so that is the end of chapter 4. So we read chapter 3 and 4. This is some pretty exciting stuff because what if Claire helps Kaz find Finn? I'm so excited. Okay, I'm going to try not to read ahead. Okay, I probably will read ahead because I usually do. But this is super exciting. I hope you're enjoying this book as much as I am. So stay tuned for chapters, let's see, we'll do 5 and 6 together too. Stay tuned for chapters 5 and 6. Bye, until next time.